Hello everyone, I'm just going to spin around with our camera today to show you what's happening here at church before I walk out of the room and we have our chance to have a go flow for this week. It's good to be with you. Thanks for coming back for episode 3 of Go Flow. We are having a garage sale at our church like many churches do, and it's just a gargantuan collection of stuff, things that we all have that we're willing to part with and that we're willing to share with other people for a fraction of the cost that we paid for them. Today I want to talk about reusability, or better yet, repurposing. And I want to come at it from 2 different vantage points. Here we have a garage sale. The whole church is full of items today. We're hoping that those items which we no longer use can be repurposed. Maybe they have the same purpose, but for someone else. And instead of ending up in a landfill, they go into somebody else's care and get used and hopefully even enjoyed. But better yet today, I'd like to take us one step further. As Christians, I'm aware of the story that Jesus told of the man who tore down his smaller barns so he could build bigger ones, because he kept collecting and even hoarding more and more things. He was possessed by his possessions. They had control over his life. It wasn't just the next day even that a storm came and wiped everything out. And he learned how fragile life is and how possessions aren't the number one priority of our lives. What if you and I were willing to share our possessions so that they could be repurposed for someone else's use? But then instead of replacing them with more possessions, stopped, called a timeout, limited ourselves. And what if we repurposed our lives from that point on? Lives that we knew had a higher priority for them from God. That we would spend more of our time and our energy and our effort and our focus and our joy sharing our life with others, or being involved in our families' lives more, or giving greater focus to our relationships and friendships and not to our things, so that they didn't have the power of possessing us anymore. What if the new purpose of our lives was to be stronger and more faithful disciples? That's the whole point of our Go Flow series, that we ask the Holy Spirit to flow into our hearts and our minds and our lives so that we can go out into the world as deeper, more faithful disciples for Christ. And that we embody what Christ wants for us. Lives that are richer in giving, in forgiving, in loving, in being generous, in living for others, and not for ourselves. So this is this week's episode of Go Flow. I hope you'll take it. I hope you'll take it seriously. And I hope you'll think about repurposing your very life for Christ and for the sake of God's world. Good to see all of you, everyone. Come back next week, and I'll look forward to seeing you again.